General Kethvar of the Galactic Defense Coalition stood at attention as the latest batch of recruits filed into the orientation chamber. His razor-sharp mandibles clicked with barely concealed disdain as he observed the group. Towering Vraxians with their chitinous armor gleaming under the harsh lights. Ethereal Zephyrians floating gracefully above the ground, their psychic auras shimmering like heat waves. Massive Koravan warriors, each one capable of crushing a starship's hull with their bare hands. And then there were the humans. 5 of them, clustered together like lost younglings. They looked so fragile. No natural armor, no psychic abilities, no enhanced strength or speed. Their skin was soft, their bones hollow-seeming, their eyes small and weak. Kethvar had read their species profile, average lifespan of barely a century, susceptible to most toxins, required constant atmospheric support, and possessed physical capabilities that ranked in the bottom percentile of all coalition members. Why, Kethvar muttered to his aide, did command insist on accepting these creatures? Lieutenant Zix shrugged, her 6 arms rippling with confusion. Political pressure, sir. Earth recently joined the coalition, and their leaders demanded representation in our forces. Command couldn't refuse without causing a diplomatic incident. Kethvar's compound eyes focused on the humans again. The tallest one, apparently their leader, according to the manifest, was a female named Captain Elena Vasquez. She stood barely 2 meters tall, shorter than most species adolescents, and probably weighed less than a Koravan's fingernail. Attention, recruits! Kethvar's voice boomed through the chamber's translation system. You have been selected to join the most elite fighting force in the galaxy. The Draconian Empire threatens our very existence, and only the strongest, the most capable, the most evolved warriors stand between civilization and chaos. The non-human recruits straightened with pride. The humans simply listened, their faces unreadable. Your first assignment, Kethvar continued, will be the liberation of Kepler Station. Intelligence indicates minimal resistance, a perfect mission for breaking in new recruits. What Kethvar didn't mention was that Kepler Station was considered a suicide mission. The Draconians had fortified it beyond conventional assault capabilities, and 3 previous attempts had resulted in total casualties. Command had decided to use this training mission to demonstrate to the humans exactly how outclassed they were, hoping they would voluntarily withdraw from military service. The assault began exactly as predicted badly. The Vraxian shock troops, despite their formidable natural armor, were cut down by concentrated plasma fire within minutes of landing. Their rigid tactics, honed over millennia of success, crumbled against the Draconians' adaptive defenses. The Zephyrians attempted to use their psychic abilities to confuse the enemy, but the Draconians had learned to shield their minds. Beautiful, graceful, and utterly helpless, they fell like shooting stars. The Koravans charged with the fury of living mountains, but even their incredible strength meant nothing against energy weapons that could atomize matter at the molecular level. Within 2 hours, the assault had devolved into a complete rout. Kethvar watched from the command ship as his elite forces were systematically destroyed. The humans hadn't even been assigned to the first wave. He had planned to send them in only after the real soldiers had secured the station. Sir, came Vasquez's voice over the comm, startling him. Request permission to deploy. Absolutely not, Kethvar snapped. Your species lacks the capability to. With respect, General, she interrupted, something that would have been unthinkable from any other coalition member. My people have been watching. We've identified 17 tactical errors in your approach and have developed an alternative strategy. Kethvar's mandibles clicked with anger. 17 errors. These tactics have been perfected over thousands of. Sir, every one of your species is trying to fight the Draconians the way they've always fought. Head on, using your natural advantages. But the Draconians have had centuries to study those advantages and develop counters. Despite himself, Kethvar found his attention captured. And what would you suggest, human? Let us show you. Against his better judgment and direct orders from Command, Kethvar authorized the human deployment. What followed would be analyzed in military academies across the galaxy for centuries to come. The humans didn't charge the station. They didn't attempt to overwhelm it with superior firepower or exotic abilities. Instead, they did something that no other species had ever attempted. They talked to it. Draconian Station Control. This is Captain Vasquez of the human contingent. Elena's voice broadcasted on all frequencies. We know you're monitoring Coalition communications. We'd like to propose something. Kethvar nearly choked on his breathing fluid. What are you doing? This is not how war is conducted. But Elena continued, we humans are new to this conflict. We don't have the history of hatred between our species. What if we could find a solution that doesn't end with everyone dying? The response from the station was immediate. Laughter. Harsh, mechanical laughter from the Draconian commander. Weak humans, the voice translated roughly. You think words can replace strength. You prove what we have always known, your coalition is filled with cowards. Maybe, Elena replied calmly. But here's what you don't know about humans. We're really, really good at finding patterns. Before Kethvar could ask what she meant, the humans acted. They had spent their 2 hours of observation, not mourning the fallen or preparing weapons, but analyzing every aspect of the Draconian defense. They had mapped power consumption patterns, identified rotation schedules, tracked ammunition expenditure, and noted response times to various stimuli. What followed wasn't a battle, it was a surgical dismantling. The humans hit 17 different systems simultaneously, each strike perfectly timed to cascade into the next. They didn't try to break through the defenses, they convinced the defenses to break themselves. They overloaded power grids, triggered false alarms that repositioned defenders, and exploited a vulnerability in the environmental controls that no other species would have even recognized. 37 minutes later, Kepler Station surrendered. Kethvar stared at the tactical display in stunned silence. His elite forces species that had conquered star systems had failed completely. The humans, whom he had dismissed as weaklings, had achieved total victory without firing a single shot in anger. How? He finally managed to ask. Elena's voice came back, and he could hear the smile in it. General, every other species in the coalition evolved to be apex predators on their homeworlds. They developed incredible physical abilities, psychic powers, natural weapons. But humans, we evolved as persistence hunters on a world that was actively trying to kill us every single day. She paused, and when she continued, her voice carried a weight that Kethvar had never heard from any human before. We didn't develop claws or armor or telepathy. We developed something much more dangerous, the ability to outlast, outthink, and out-adapt anything the universe throws at us. You see weakness where you should see our greatest strength. We never stop trying, we never stop learning, and we never, ever give up. From that day forward, human weaklings became the most requested specialists in the coalition military. Because sometimes, the greatest strength wasn't what you could break, it was what you could endure, adapt to, and ultimately overcome. And the humans, as it turned out, were very good at overcoming impossible odds.